You have a very interesting and like just unique perspective, I think, on like health and wellness, especially when it's geared towards young women. And the amount of research done on female athletes is like minuscule.
Yes,
And so I think that today is going to be a really beautiful conversation around how young athletes, female athletes, can really empower their bodies to be working at their kind of peak performance and what that looks like.
absolutely.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like what's I know that you're really passionate about working with females and about kind of giving younger women information that you and me really didn't have when we were younger. So
Mhm.
maybe that's a great starting point. What is like one key concept you think that is important for young female athletes to know about their body?
It's a good question. I think for me and why I really like working with women, like women of all ages, is because just the ability to relate and connect. And I
Mm,
think that women are we're all very similar in terms of what we experience and what we go through, regardless of what stage we're in. So if it's pre-puberty, puberty, perimenopause, menopause, like we all have similar struggles and similar experiences when it comes to being a woman and thinking about our health. Um, what was the question again?
what is a key concept?
The key,
That's
I was like,
okay.
wait a minute. I think I
Sorry
got it.
about squirrel.
Squirrel,
ADHD being
literally.
one of them. No, I'm kidding.
A key concept. I think like a big thing is that women aren't like we are different than men. We
Mm,
can't train like we can't train the same. Not saying we can't lift as heavy, do the same things because we can,
yeah,
but our bodies require different things, and we're experiencing different things every day,
yeah,
right? So we go through what is it, 28, 30-day cycle, and men go through like a 1 day cycle. So
yeah.
knowing where our energy levels lie at certain points of our cycle can really help when we are training and when we're trying to reach that peak athletic performance.
Okay. That is huge. Like I knew nothing about this as an elite athlete when I was younger. Like,
I don't even think like I'm only just scratching the surface of this as
mhm,
well because again, it's not something that's taught in school. Like I couldn't
yeah,
tell you, I don't think I could tell you my exact cycle right now.
yeah.
I think it's important. Do I think it's important that women should know where they are in their cycle? Yes. But it's not something that's not taught to us. And it's not
Hmm.
something that's I guess it's easily accessible. Everything's easily accessible online nowadays, but even going
Yeah.
through I have my doctorate. Like I've done school for how many years and it still wasn't something that was taught at all.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's like a systemic issue that we don't know about our health. And then even in research and especially in the sports world, women aren't studied,
Hmm. Yeah.
which is so crazy when we're
It
thinking about
is.
what interventions to provide, and all the
Yeah.
studies have been done on male participants. Like it just
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense. So I think as women, like we need to keep that in mind when we're seeing things online, when we see things that, oh, this is the best way to train. We should be doing this if we want to reach this level, right?
Hmm.
It's not the same.
Hmm. Yeah. So, so for let's say, some of our listeners are, let's say, just kind of getting their period, really.
Hmm.
Right? And so like so now this is a totally new phase of their life. How can they start to learn about where they are in their cycle? Like is it something that you kind of keep track of on a calendar? Is
I
it do
think
you
a calendar is a good start. And again, when you first and again, I'm not a
Yeah.
professional in this. This is not my designation, but as a
Yes.
woman,
Yes.
um, like starting with a calendar is a good start because when you're so young, it's not going to be what your period's going to be like in 5 to 10 years, even like six
Yeah.
months. It may vary, right?
Yeah.
So keeping a good idea of your cycle when you're getting your period, tracking it, and then there's so many resources out there. There's apps, there's professionals online, there's so many resources on YouTube. Like I think it's
Hmm.
it's a good thing for women, even myself, now that we're having this conversation, to like look into it and learn about it. Because
Hmm.
things matter, especially in our health and in our training. Like
Hmm.
when we are on our cycle, we have different energy levels. Where you have to think about we're losing a lot of iron, we're losing a lot of blood, so our energy
Yeah.
levels are going to be different, which means that we have to treat our body differently. We're going to
Yeah.
sleep more, we're going to have less energy, our ligaments tend to get more lax during this time. There's actually an increase of injuries. I believe it is ACL injuries in
No.
relation to when women are on their cycle.
Oh my gosh, I did not know that.
I know. I think there's a study. I believe it's female soccer players. The study that I read, but it's a higher incidence of ACL tears when women are on their when they're on their cycle.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's just always something to like keep in mind, like
Yeah.
if you're on your cycle, and everyone has a different cycle. People are in
Yeah.
more pain than others. People have different experiences.
Yeah.
So making note of that when you are in the middle of your lifts or in the middle of your training, like knowing where you're at, I think is beneficial.
Yeah. Completely. That's so interesting that the body really does change that much for us, whereas men, it's kind of a consistent flow, I guess, or
Yeah.
maybe flow is not the right.
Maybe
Anyways,
flow is not the right word, but I know what you mean.
everybody knows what I'm talking about. Okay, so ever kind of our ever-changing bodies and knowing kind of where we're at when it comes to our cycle and what our bodies need. What what is something that you've noticed with clients that have helped them be able to manage their training and recovery?
In terms of their cycle.
No, and just in terms of like life and sport.
I think for their training and recovery and what helps them do those two things.
Hmm.
I can even speak on behalf of myself as well.
Yeah.
But a lot of the conversations that I have with my clients and what I had with Joelle the other day was just being like creating a schedule that works for you and then
Mm,
sticking to it. And sometimes when we're like, okay, for the next 4 weeks, I want to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, whatever, and it's just too much. Like we have to do stuff that's manageable for us,
mm,
that we can that we will actually do, and that we know is going to feel good for us. So I'm a huge believer in having a good morning routine. I think
okay.
that's super important. Having a morning routine has completely transformed, I would say, my life. I will put the emphasis on a morning routine. I just think when you give yourself time first thing in the morning and you're not thinking about doing stuff for other people,
Hmm.
it's a really great start to the day. And it's a lot more important, I would say, for women, because we are beings that so easily give ourselves to other people and help other people and
Mm,
tend to other people and kind of put ourselves and our health on the back burner. So and it doesn't need to be extensive. It doesn't always need to be an hour session at the gym, right? This could be 2 minutes of breathing. This could be 2 minutes of just sitting there doing nothing, right? This could be just something that is a space that you've created for yourself without any interruptions. And it doesn't have to be that 1 hour. It could be as long
yeah.
as a minute. It's whatever you have to give yourself at the beginning of the day.
Yeah. That is huge. I would like to respond to that as well because you're right. Like we as women, we're nurturers, and so we
Yeah.
always are we're caretaking for everybody else before we take care of ourselves. And it's that concept of pouring out this cup all the time and not refilling it, right? And I know for myself that and I'm not a morning person. Like I'm
Yeah.
gonna be very real with everybody here.
Yeah.
I hate it's just
Oh my
it's
goodness.
terrible. Um, but what I have noticed is that when I lay in bed, and so now I do this every morning, is I lay in bed and before I get out of bed, I take those few minutes that you're talking about. I did try and like wake up early and go to the gym and like do all
Yeah.
the things, and it was
Yeah.
just it didn't work for me.
Yeah.
And I had to come to the realization that that was okay
Yeah.
because it's out there on all these platforms on
Yeah.
TikTok and like all these
Yeah.
things, all
I'm
these
doing this
amazing
at
chicas are out
before
at the
7
gym.
a.m.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, and it's like,
right. Oh, but it's
that's
like
great.
Yeah, good for them. I'm so happy for them. But me, like it just didn't work. And so I had to come to the like acknowledgement that it was okay that that didn't work for me and that my morning routine was like when my alarm went off, laying in bed and like starting with wiggling my toes and rotating my ankles and like just having a few moments uninterrupted where I was breathing and actually like doing self-talk
Yeah.
and visualization.
Yeah.
Like, and it started,
I love visualization.
me
I like
too.
to spend 10 minutes in the morning. And it does, again, doesn't have to be long. It can be under 10 minutes. It could just be like
Yeah.
2 minutes of you just thinking about what you want your day to look like, what you want the month to look like, what things do you want to bring in today, right? Like
Yes.
I think there's a lot of power in visualizing things and
Yeah.
manifesting the life that you want, and just
Yeah.
showing up as the person that you want to be. And I think
Yeah.
that starts in the morning because your morning routine can't be you roll over and you scroll on TikTok for an hour. And I know
Yeah.
that's common. Like we've all been there, like we all do it. But sometimes if I do that in the morning, I'm like, "Ah," I realize that I like scrolling a little bit because like I turn my alarm off. Then I'm
Hmm.
like, I'll put my phone away for a bit. I'll just close my eyes again and just pretend that I'm waking up all over again. And I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna scroll. Like I'm gonna do something else.
Restart.
I'm
Restart.
restarting. But it can't be the phone. You can't wake up and the first thing you are consuming is other people's lives.
Yes. Yes. That is
Yeah.
so, so true. That is so true. And it's like for me, it is. It's visualizing like today I am going to be calm and I'm going to
Yeah.
be present and I am going to, like all of
Yeah.
these things that are kind of setting me up and opening my mind
Yeah.
to the day that is about to happen and how I want to respond to whatever happens,
Yeah. And
right?
I
And
love that. I think that's
um,
actually a very challenging thing to do. And I think it's a very challenging thing to do specifically for women. Again, because we are nurturers, we take care, we have so many things on our plate, most, if not all days.
yeah.
And usually when people wake up, they're just thinking about all the things that they need to get done. So it's really challenging and it takes work and effort and the
Mhm.
ability to realize how you are feeling and how you've been generally feeling over the past couple of days, weeks, months. But it takes work. So if you're someone who is always feeling either like fatigued
Mhm.
or down or low and it starts right in the morning, like that is a good indication that you need to figure out where you are at. And I really like having these conversations. Kind of, it comes out in the history taking when I first meet a patient or a client, just naturally. But it's really a good thing for me, but it's also a really great thing for my patients. Like my initial appointments are an hour and 30 minutes
Wow. Yeah.
because we need to talk. We need to figure out where you are at and where is your mindset and what do you think about your current state of health and where do you want to be. And it's a lot of conversation because a lot of people don't know or don't realize that
Hmm.
they need to know that they've been kind of in this state of just kind of moving through life and then they're wondering why they have all these aches and pains.
Hmm.
And sometimes it comes down to, most oftentimes, I can say, it comes down to stress.
Yeah.
Stress plays like a huge role in how pain manifests physically, right? So we need to ask those questions about stress, about sleep, about nutrition. All of these things matter when I'm dealing with someone in pain or they want to improve their performance or whatever it may be physically. We have to talk about mental and emotional health as well.
Yes, totally. And I think too that this is not something that is just for like adults. Yeah, Dr. Claire and I are sitting here and we're grown-ups, but all of you young women out there, we know that you have busy brains too, and that you are wanting to take care of your siblings, or maybe your parents are going through something and you feel like you need to take care of them, or
Yeah,
maybe your parents aren't involved and you're just so focused on having to
yeah,
survive and take care of yourself in a certain way, right? And so it's
yeah.
really good to be able to start to build these habits for yourself now when you're young, because right now your brain is a sponge. And the older that you get, the more solid those like kind of wirings and all that kind of stuff in your brain, for lack
Hmm.
of technical terms, um, But the more solid it gets and the harder it is to implement things like what Dr. Claire and I are talking about, taking a few minutes for yourself in the morning and just like having that positive self-talk, visualizing who you want to be that day. Like it
Hmm.
doesn't even have to be something crazy and some huge elaborate plan. It can just be
Yeah.
like, how do I want to show up for myself today? And
Yeah.
just ask yourself that every morning and take a breath because
Yeah.
when you get out of that bed, all of a sudden it's boom, you're on,
Yeah.
right? And so it doesn't really matter if you're 11 years old or 24 or
Yeah.
34 or 50. It
Yeah.
just it is what it is.
Yeah. I love that. And this is a main reason why I love working with young women, like teenagers, specifically preteens,
Mhm.
because they have gone through a lot. Like
Mhm.
their brains have developed. They have had experiences with their family, with themselves, with experiences at school, right?
Yeah.
And as a young, I'll just say even just a young person as a child, like there are many things that you haven't learned yet. And I think parents, we always say, okay, yeah, you don't know things yet. You still have to learn this, which is true.
Hmm.
But you also do know a lot of things. The things
Yeah.
that feel true to your heart, the things that bring you joy, the things that bring you genuine happiness, the feelings of peace, like those
Hmm.
all remain true and will remain true your entire life. Like there are
Hmm.
experiences that you have right now as a young person that feel good to you, those will always feel good to you and you will always be trying to chase that feeling as an adult. And when you get
Hmm.
back to it as an adult, if you ever feel like you've lost your way or life has gotten really crazy, like those are the types of feelings that you are going to be searching for. So
Hmm.
my advice is just spend time figuring out what those things are and then remembering the feeling and then always trying to do those things that give you a similar feeling.
Yeah, I love this. And this is kind of helping to navigate this conversation, I think, towards our identity and like what really matters in life. Because here we are, you and I are talking, and we're really talking to all of you out there listening who are probably high achievers and you're athletes who just like have goals and you are running with reckless abandon towards those goals at any cost.
Which is
And
great. Like it's
yes.
great to have goals, it's great
Mhm.
to have structure, it's great to have competition. Like that those are all really great things.
Mhm.
But you have to find your identity within that. And that's where like parents and coaches really
Mhm.
need to step up and come in. Because at the
Yes.
end of the day, like you're dealing with young humans who have not completely developed yet, like mentally or physically.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, and
So
I know for me, like when I was finished playing sports, I didn't know who I was because I was Mariel the volleyball player,
yeah.
and everything was like all the medals that were hanging on the walls, or the trophies, or the
Yeah.
recruitment that I got, or like all of these things, and then all of a sudden I wasn't playing anymore and I was like, "Oh, but where is my value then?"
Yeah.
And then that's where it kind of reverts back to what we were saying before. And it's like those moments where you can take time and think about who you want to be, not what you want to do. What
Yeah.
you want to do is an awesome, like,
Yeah.
cherry on top.
Yeah. But it takes the person that you want to be to get yourself there. Like if you have a vision of what you want to do, you want to be the best athlete, you want to go to the Olympics, whatever that is, you are not going to get there if you don't change, if you don't try to become the person that you want to be when you're doing said thing,
Hmm.
right? Like it takes a lot of self work and growth, and that doesn't happen unless you actually do the work and it's a little bit uncomfortable and you
Hmm.
try to get to that person that you want to be that is going to achieve those things, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't just come from skill.
Yeah.
Obviously, skill plays a huge part of it, but it's
Yep.
the mental toughness and the grit that drives you to get to that point in your life.
100%. And
And
I think, like, tell me what you think about this exercise. Would it be really good for an athlete that's listening right now to maybe write down that end goal that
yes,
they have and then
write
all
down, yes.
yes, write it down
Yes.
100%. But write it down and then ask themselves what type of a person achieves something like this.
Yep.
And then in
Totally.
in that answer, like what are some of the things that are gonna like if I want to play for the Olympics in my sport, Dr. Claire, what kind of a person would make it to be able to represent their country in the Olympics?
You need to practice gratitude, like
Mm-hmm.
1000%. If you want, and this is again personal opinion, but if you want to get to a high level, if you want to be a high achiever, if you want to get to that the highest level that you can get to, like you need to be grateful every step of the way. And that's
Yeah.
why I like writing things down, because then you can really see it. You can write things down a year right now, and then you can reassess in a year from now and be like, whoa, look what I've accomplished, like on paper in real life. Like I said that I wanted to do this and I've done it. Right?
Yeah.
Like you need to be grateful. You need to be dedicated to yourself, which means like you need to do all the things that you know that the human body needs to function at a high level. You need to sleep, you need to eat well, you need to hydrate, you need to have that sense of community and support system. Like all you
Mm-hmm.
need to get strong, you need to work out, you need to prioritize yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
those are like my two biggest things, like being grateful, being practicing gratitude,
Mm-hmm.
and putting energy and time and dedicating yourself to yourself.
I love those. And let's dive into each one a little bit deeper. So let's start with the first one, gratitude. Gratitude is, to me, it's celebrating the micro wins. It doesn't have to be gratitude for something huge and like, or celebrate, these massive things that you reach or anything like that. Like gratitude is in all of these like micro mini little moments, even
Mm-hmm.
as like, you know, if your alarm goes off at 5 in the morning, heaven forbid,
Yeah.
because you have to go to practice,
Yeah.
being like, okay, you know what, this is hard, but I'm thankful right now that this is building my grit and I have an opportunity to train with a coach that
Yeah.
90% of other athletes don't have, right? And
Yeah.
so it's being able to like reframe tiny little moments like that.
Yeah. And I find the easiest, well, maybe not the easiest, but one of the ways that you can practice gratitude is if you find, and our mind all usually can go there and goes to a negative place. Like if I my alarm goes off at 5 a.m., I don't want to do it. I don't want to train. I'm so warm in my bed. I don't want to get up.
Yeah.
Switch it to how lucky am I that one, I woke up this morning? How
Hmm.
lucky am I that I have the ability to move my legs, move my arms, and get to challenge it in a way that's going to make me better and going to make me stronger? How lucky
Hmm.
am I that I have parents downstairs that woke up as well and they're going to cook me a nice, healthy breakfast? How lucky
Hmm.
am I that I have a coach that wants to see me succeed and is going to help me get there, right? Like it's thinking about those things and also all the people in your life that are trying to help you. And that's a
Hmm.
challenging thing as a young person, especially as a
Yep.
teenager, right? Like you're a
Yep.
teenager, I get it. You want to do what you want to do. You're figuring yourself out. But you have to think like look at all the people around you. You would not be who you are without
Hmm.
the people around you and without you being grateful for that and for yourself and all the work that everyone is doing to help you, right?
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And which is why I really like sport is a great thing. And if we go back to what we were talking about before, like spending time to figure out the things that make you feel good. Oftentimes with youth athletes, it is their sport because there's community, you face
Yep.
challenges, there's teamwork, there's strategy, you get guidance from a coach, like you're doing physical activity, all the
Yep.
things that we need in life. Of course, you're going to feel really good when you're doing it, right? But
Yeah.
then when sport is over, like you need to then find that community, find a sense of challenge, get regular physical activity, have mentorship, right? It's all the things that were within sport that sport was a great foundation for.
Mm-hmm.
And now take that and use it in your actual life. Like when we think about it that way rather than, oh, my sport's over, I don't know who I am. You
Mm-hmm.
just spent how many years of your life building a really solid foundation of what makes you feel good as a human being.
Yeah.
Now you're equipped to find that wherever you go,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if we work on flipping the mindset or laterally moving into that mindset, I think it's really beneficial.
100%. And and there's a really beautiful thing that happens for all of you listening, that when we start to have this practice of gratitude, what we're doing is we're looking for all the little moments of joy. We're looking for the wins. And when you look for something, you'll find it.
Yeah.
And so if we're concentrating on looking for the moments that we get to celebrate, then we're going to attract those things to us. We're going to see them more often. Whereas if we're complaining and it's just total drudgery that we need to do something and,
Yeah.
oh, this fucking sucks and
Yeah.
like whatever, like all of these things, then that's what we're looking for, even though we're not meaning to.
Yeah. That's
But
what you're
it's so it
attracting.
really is about wiring your brain too to see the moments that are going to bring you joy because all of those moments, they all add up. They all add what 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. Like if you keep
Yeah.
doing that and you press equals at the end, it's going to be a giant number,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. And even
Yeah.
if you relate that to training, like when we work out and when we exercise and when we try to get stronger, yes, we're working on increasing muscle size and increasing power, increasing speed. But at the end of the day, what we are truly doing is influencing the nervous system,
Yeah.
right? It's creating more resiliency within the nervous system to do the things that you want to do. And it's the same with
Mhm.
your brain and it's the same with your mindset. If you train your brain to think positively and be grateful and be thankful for what you have, like over time, it's exactly that. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 every day of your life.
Yeah.
And I always think like why sometimes when I'm in that negative mindset, because again, everyone is
Oh yeah.
there. There are days
Yep.
where I wake up and I'm miserable. I'm like,
Me too.
why? I just woke up. Like it's 7 a.m.
Where am I in my cycle? No, I'm kidding.
Why is my yeah, seriously. Why is my brain doing this today? And then like you have to think, why wouldn't I want to be happy today?
Yeah.
Like I know that when I wake up and I'm negative, this is going to affect my entire day.
Hmm.
So why don't I do something about it now
Yeah.
so that I can enjoy my day? Because why wouldn't I want to enjoy my day?
Yeah.
Right? Like why wouldn't I want to be happy and pleasant and enjoy all the things that life can give me?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. The second piece of what you said was really making sure that we are taking care of ourselves, like physically, emotionally, mentally, like
Yep.
how are we fueling our bodies? And so like how important is that?
The most important thing on this planet
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
fueling our bodies, right?
Yeah.
Fueling it and think about it as anything that you consume is
Hmm.
fueling your body.
Hmm.
So consuming is scrolling on social media, what you are visually seeing, what you
Hmm.
are eating, the types of environments that you're in, the way that it's making you feel,
Yeah.
you're sleeping, like that's still consuming, right?
Yeah.
Your exercise, all of it matters. And I would
Hmm.
say it's the most important thing on the face of this earth because you're only on this earth until your body decides to not function anymore. So if you
Hmm.
are able to do the things that allow the body to function optimally,
Hmm.
then you're going to really have a great experience here and you're going to be able to do what you want to do for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I love that you said a great experience
Yeah,
here. That's so
you're going
cute.
to have a great
It's true
experience.
though. It's
It's
true.
true. We don't have,
Yes.
like, if you think about it, we don't have that long on the earth, right? You got to make the most of what we're doing. And we often think, okay, yeah, this is what I'm doing and this is going to be the rest of my life. But
Mm,
life happens and things happen and shit
yeah,
happens. And
it
as long
does.
as like you are putting in the effort to make sure that you're resilient and you're strong and you can handle whatever life throws your way, that
Hmm.
starts with your mental, but this can only function if everything else in the system is functioning,
Yeah.
right? If you're fueling the system with food, with hydration, with exercise, with managing stress, right? All of this is connected. You can't just do one. I can't
Hmm.
just eat healthy and then be a negative, miserable person and never exercise, right? What's the point
Yeah.
of me eating healthy? I'd
Yeah.
rather just eat burgers every day.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like a key piece to bring in here is that all of you listening, what you are trying to do by being an elite athlete, by being a high achiever, is you're trying to be extraordinary. You're trying to like be different than everybody else. So like let's break that down. if you're going to be extraordinary, if you're going to go the distance, if you're going to be the top 1% of your sport, of your whatever you're competing in, or maybe it's grades, maybe it's art, singing, like who knows, but if you are trying to be the best of the best, then you can't act like everybody else. And look around you to all the other people who are in your peer group, who are your age, in your class. Like, what are they doing? They're scrolling on social media. They're eating junk food. They're treating themselves like shit. They're spending more time investing into other people rather than themselves. They are skipping class maybe, or they're not going to practice, or not touching the line when you're running lines, like anything like that. It's shortchanging, right? And so if you want to be that person who is set apart from everybody, then doing what Dr. Claire and I are talking about, which is like taking care of yourself, getting the right amount of sleep, not having your cell phone in your bedroom, like so you can actually sleep, and doing your homework so that you get good grades. So when that recruiter comes to talk to you about playing in, college or something like that, your grades match your ability to play, and it's just a straight shot. Like all of these things, and it's hard to do when you're a teenager.
It's
I know.
really hard to do. It's hard to do
I
as an
know.
adult. It's
As
hard
an
to do as
adult
an
too.
adult. Like it's
Let's not
hard.
lie.
It's
It
very
never
hard to
gets
do it as an
easy.
adult. Yeah, it's very hard. But I love that because everyone is different. And if you do want to stand out, the
Hmm.
only way you can do that is by being yourself. And there's
Hmm.
three things that I think everyone should invest in, and it's health and education, and I'm losing my third.
You know what's funny? Whenever I say I have three things, I always lose the third too. So you're not,
There it
you're
goes.
not alone.
Oh,
You're,
here it is. The three things I think everyone should invest in: health, education, and just being yourself.
mm,
Those are the three things
hmm.
because everybody is different, and that's what makes you unique, and that's what makes you special, and that's what makes you going to be able to get to the next level, is that you're always doing stuff that's true to yourself. Because then you're
Hmm.
in this great flow of life, and you're enjoying the process, and you're doing your best, and you're doing what you need to do for yourself, and
Hmm.
everything will work out as long as you are being true to yourself. And you have to like you have to know that, and you have to believe that.
Hmm.
Like if you are right now between that 11 to 24 years old, you have to believe that. You have to
Hmm.
believe that. You just have to believe it.
Hmm. So how do I, let's say I'm like 15 years old.
Okay.
How do I, as a 15-year-old, figure out what is actually like me? What is actually authentic to me versus me just wanting to really fit in?
So I think that one, that's a great question, but it goes back to my point at the top, is that the things that feel true to you in your heart, the things that bring you joy, the things that bring you genuine happiness, the feelings of peace, those always remain the same throughout your life. So
Hmm.
if you really enjoyed something at 3 years old, at 4 years old, like go back to being that. You're not very far away from that 4 year old, that 5 year old. Like you still, those
Yeah.
were true, genuine things that you love to do and that brought you joy. Like
Hmm.
go back to doing that. And it could doesn't have to be like, say you did ballet as a kid and you loved ballet. Okay, was it the what aspect of it? Did you love to dance? Did you love wearing the tutu? Like what was it about it? Did you love the
Hmm.
other dancers? Did you love the instructors? Like figure out what that was for you and
Hmm.
then do something that might feel like a lateral move. Take a dance class, right?
Yeah.
Buy a new dress. I don't know. Like do
Yeah.
do something that you know that you used to love, because if you loved it before, I'm sure that you still love it. And it's probably
Hmm.
been a long time that you've done the thing that you loved. And that's what's really tricky about being a teenager and being a teenage girl, is that maybe sometimes the things that you loved when you were younger, they're not cool anymore. People aren't doing it anymore. But so what? It's if
Yeah.
it's something that you like to do, do it,
Hmm.
right? And then continue to do it because that's what makes you different and that's what makes you you and that's what's going to make you stand out.
Hmm. Yeah. And it's really interesting because as we grow up, we lose touch with the kid version of ourselves. And it's interesting because when we're a teenager, all we want to do is grow up as fast as we can and be given like all those things that, well, like stop treating me like I'm a kid. And, I remember saying, like,
Yeah,
and I
me
remember
too.
my mom saying, like, just slow down,
Yeah,
right? And it's so,
relax. It sucks.
yeah,
It sucks out here.
yes. And then now as adults, like, when when adults go to therapy, you guys, listen to this. When adults go to therapy, we get told to tap into and come back to the kid version of ourselves because that is where we were like authentic, like we're talking about. And and so it's interesting that there's like this weird cycle that goes on when we're like little kids, we're
Yeah,
all happy and like life is amazing and all these things, and we get to be a teenager and just life sucks.
yeah,
And we just want to grow up so we have control.
yeah.
And then we become an adult and we if we're an adult who is really working on being like grounded and healed and
Hmm.
all that kind of stuff, then we have to bring ourselves back to being a kid. So so as a kid, as a youth, as an athlete, like it's a really big power move actually
Huge.
to tap into, okay, what is actually making my soul happy and my heart smile right now? What is inspiring me and gets me just totally jacked up right now? And to keep track of that, because you're gonna need it.
Yeah, you're
Like
gonna need it. It's a
eventually, you're
tool.
gonna need that list.
Yeah, it's a tool. These are all tools that you
Yes.
could use like for the rest of your life. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
worth doing when you're young because
Mm-hmm.
then you know that, you know what, when I'm 20, when I'm 30, when I'm 40, like I already know the things that I like right now. And there's only going to be more and more things if I continue to do these things that I like, only good things are going to come to me. So it's
Mm-hmm.
just going to equip me better and better and better as I move through life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but especially for teenagers, like you're not gonna figure out what you like scrolling on TikTok and
Mm-hmm.
being around a million people at once. Like you
Mm-hmm.
need to spend time by yourself. That is a thing that I am very firm on when I'm speaking to young women is like you need to spend time. You need to be okay with being alone.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be comfortable with it just being you. And
Mm-hmm.
that's very easy for me because I'm an only child. So I grew up as an
Okay.
only child. Like I'm used to being independent. I'm used to being creating my own fun and doing things that I want to do. It may be harder with siblings or if your house is a little more chaotic with a lot of people around. But
Yes.
even more so for those people, you need to be
Yeah.
okay with being alone because oftentimes when we're surrounded by so many people or we play a sport and then we're so busy and we're doing all these things, when we're alone we feel anxious and we feel scared
Mm-hmm.
and we feel like I just need to go on my phone and I need to see other people living their life, right? It draws you in and it's just a distraction at the end of the day from trying to figure out who you are and what you like and you being
Mm-hmm.
comfortable in your own skin at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? This all relates. I know, like, we're kind of jumping in and out of the sport aspect of this, but, and you might be thinking, sitting there thinking, like, what does this have to do with me playing volleyball really good or trying out for the hockey team or whatever? But what is happening here is that if you walk into a hockey tryout and you are totally grounded in who you are and comfortable in your own skin and confident in what you can control, and you have like this awesome mindset of this is who I am and I'm here to learn and do the best I can, you are going to go so far in your sport and you're going to go so far in your life because at the end of the day, like we said earlier, those skills, whatever sport you're in, the actual physical skills, yeah, sure, they take you far, but they don't take you all the way. They take you all the way when they are paired up with what we've been talking about, being confident in who you are, knowing your values, being able to kind of like shut out the noise of what other people are saying or being worried about what other people are thinking. All of these things that we're speaking about right now help you like really forge your legacy both in your sport and
Nice.
in life. No smooth, right?
Yeah, so yeah, no, I totally agree, and I think this is a message for both parents and athletes. Like there are many other ways that you can get better at your sport than
Yeah.
just playing your sport.
Yes.
Like to get better at your sport, yes, you need to practice, and yes, you need to get strong. Yes, you need to have good nutrition. Like we know these things, but to take you to that next level, it's all mental and emotional.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of things that go into that, which is why I'm so passionate about that part of health and that part of performance, because I don't think, especially kids, realize how important it is,
Hmm.
right? And my husband and I, we would work with we've worked with a couple basketball teams, and he's really on them about communication,
Hmm.
and he always relates it to like, okay, say you make it to the NBA and you're at a press conference. You can't even look me in the eye and have a conversation with me. How do you think they're going to view you now in the media? And do you think that's not going to affect you in the sport that you play? Like,
Hmm.
there's a huge portion of that that is extremely important when you get to that high level, right? You need to be able to carry yourself. You need to be able to have confidence in who you are. You need to be a good communicator.
Yeah.
All of these things. All of the
It's
things.
all the things because they're all just so intertwined. And we as parents, we as coaches, as athletes, we lose sight of it all and we just focus on the physical skill and just go headfirst into that.
Yeah. Which
And
is
then
it's great. Like we want athletes to be dedicated to their sport and finding out ways that they can get better at it. But again, it's not just physical. And as someone who works with the human body every single
Mhm.
day, like I am telling you that the human body does not work in unison. It is a system. When
Mm,
something isn't working, the whole system isn't working,
yeah.
right? So your mind and everything that feeds into the whole system is important for
Yeah.
your physical abilities.
This is so true. And even like I am on the receiving end of that. I'm not the doctor. I'm not working with bodies every day and all that, but I know that I literally I couldn't go further in my sport because my body held the score for a lot of like trauma and emotional pain that happened in my life
Yeah,
and it became chronic pain and I could
yeah,
barely move.
yeah,
And as I have been doing healing with my emotions and my
hmm,
like mental state, all of a sudden I'm not in pain anymore.
yeah,
Like I'm a living, breathing example of how our minds and our bodies are so deeply
yeah.
connected.
And that's
So
why
it's
like
like,
these conversations are important because a lot of time, like I don't know one teenager that's just hunky dory. Like there's
yeah,
something like things happen in your little life
yes,
that affects you and will affect you your whole life.
yeah,
And oftentimes we use physical activity and there in this case sports as an
hmm,
outlet
yeah,
because we feel better because we're moving our bodies and we're challenged like we're pushing ourselves to the max. Like that
yeah,
will always make you feel better, but
yes,
it is never the solution, right?
hmm,
It's part of the solution, but there needs to be other things set in place to
hmm,
make you that well-rounded, healthy, happy human being. And that's
yeah,
again where parents and coaches like you guys have to step up your game in that situation. Like it cannot
hmm,
just be, okay, go burn some energy. You're upset, go burn some energy with your sport
hmm,
and just not talk about it. Like coaches for sure have a huge role to play
yeah.
in like seeing the behavior of the kids that are of the athletes that are playing on their teams.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
completely. And coaches, oh, yeah, I've had this conversation on here before too, and it's just important to reiterate it is that coaches, for those of you who are listening, like you are coaching a human being.
Yeah.
And the more that you can support them as a whole rather than just this one small portion of their life, then the greater impact you're going to have on their life and the further they're going to be able to go as well in the sport, right?
Yeah.
And so, especially with teenagers too, right? Like teenagers, your brains are now at a developmental point where you're kind of, now this is not an excuse to be rude to your parents, but but
Note.
note, sidebar. But your brains are wired to push against your parents and to go elsewhere to find information and to find support and to find that stuff because that's kind of what we needed to happen from caveman days,
Yeah.
right? And so coaches, you're in perfect line to really like take your role seriously
Yeah.
as somebody who these youth athletes are going to look up to
Yeah.
for everything, really.
Yeah.
Like, back in my volleyball days, my coach, sure, she was my volleyball coach, but she was also like my life coach. And
Yeah.
she didn't even like she
Realize
didn't
it.
even try.
Yeah.
She just was.
Well, if you just think about anyone that has made an impact in your life.
Hmm.
And my favorite quote, it's people aren't going to remember you from the words that you said. It's people will remember you by the way that you made them feel.
Hmm.
Right? Even if something, there's a sentence that your mentor told you once.
Yeah.
It's not the words that you're remembering. It's how it made you feel in that moment. It was what you needed to hear in that moment, right? That guided you in the right path.
Yeah. Yeah. What is something that somebody told you that stuck with you?
Ooh, I would there's not really much that I there's not one specific quote that I can think of, but I think it's always like a
Hmm.
feeling of peace and a feeling of love. And for me, that started when I was like outside in nature. Like I will always remember that as a kid, and that's always something that I try to do regularly.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Nature is important to me as well. Yeah. Okay. This time is flying by. I want to
I know,
make sure
right? That we hit everything.
I want to make sure that we're not missing anything. Now, like you work a lot with physical bodies. That's what you do. It's what
Yep.
you and your husband both do.
Yep.
Like, so what is something that is important you think for young adults to know about their bodies in order for their bodies to be like strong and healthy?
That's a good question. Obviously, all the stuff that we just talked about.
Yeah.
But in terms of like strength training, I think of that the body requires two things. So the nervous system requires two things. One, it requires things that challenge the nervous system, right? So that's
Mm.
your strength workouts, that's your sport specific stuff, that's your all of those types of things, right? So it's hard for the body. The body has to overcome that to become stronger. Then two, the nervous system also needs tools to help relax and regulate it. So that's all the things that we were talking about. That's sleep, that's stress management, that's breathing and breath work, right? We
Hmm.
usually think, okay, if I just work on strength training, if I just lift heavy every day, like I'm going to get stronger, I'm going to have bigger muscles, I'm going to be better at my sport. But training and taking care of your body is so much more than just lifting weights. Right?
Hmm.
It's feeling connected to your body. It's being stable. It's having, sorry, there's a dog here. She just woke up. It's making sure your joints are healthy. You have full range of motion, or
Hmm.
or a good range of motion for the sport that you need to do. Because the
Hmm.
moment you don't have the range of motion or the stability or the control, that's where injury happens,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And even if you do have all those things, but you lack the other things, like you're not sleeping well, you're not eating well, that's where injury comes from.
Right. Yeah. And I really appreciate how you brought up the fact that we need to do hard things.
We have to do hard
Like,
things.
right? We
Totally.
need to lean into the uncomfortable and put ourselves into situations that are really going to push us and yeah, just make us uncomfortable
Yeah.
because that is where we grow. And that is a physical thing. Like, what are we doing when we're in the gym lifting weights and pushing our limits and like doing all that? We are putting our body through the ringer in order to get better. And then on the mental training side of things, putting ourselves into a situation and doing the uncomfortable thing, like regulating your emotions.
Yeah.
It's
That's hard work.
easier. It's easier just to be like, ah, blah, and kick something because you're mad and,
Yeah.
all these things. than it is to be able to sit with, okay, this feels like shit,
Yeah.
but how can I regain control?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's building your mental toughness. It's not
Definitely.
easy.
Growth doesn't come from comfort. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Amazing. Are we missing anything else? Is there anything else that we need to?
I feel like we covered it all.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Uh, Dr. Claire, thank you for taking time with me today. I
of
really
course.
appreciate it. And I just want to acknowledge you for all the hard work that you have put into yourself and the uncomfortableness that you have sat in order to grow. And now your just passion to move forward and teach others to do the same. So thank you for showing up.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And everybody, until next time, train your mind, build your grit, and forge your legacy. Mhm.